Alright, so for my interactive module, I will be doing a PowerPoint, and on the opening screen, it will say Holidays Around the World with 3 pictures. The first picture is Kwanzaa candles, the second picture is Dios de los Muertos skulls, and the third picture is a Christmas tree. So also at the bottom there will be a start button, and this must be clicked for the interactive module to start and continue to the next slide. So they'll click the button when you go to a slide, and there will be a globe with a speech bubble. The speech bubble will say, "Have you ever thought about how many holidays there are around the world? There's almost too many to count. Let's learn about 3 of my favorites." And there's going to be a next button at the bottom, and you have to click on it to move to the next slide. So the globe will say, the first one we'll learn about is Kwanzaa. And there's going to be candles that appear to represent candles during Kwanzaa. You have to click on the candles to learn more. So you'll click on that, and then it will go to a next slide where pictures are displayed around the slide, and they must be clicked on one by one to learn more about them. The slide will not continue until they're all clicked on. So the symbols that are used are going to be a Migala mat, the Unity Cup, Kinara, the 7 candles, corn, and a Zawdi, I don't know how to say it, gifts. So basically you'll just click on them, and then it'll have a little bubble that'll appear with information, and then you just click on the next one, and after you click on all of them, you can hit the next button, which is located on the bottom, and that will direct you to the next slide. So the next slide is a video that is 1 minute and 28 seconds long, and it's on YouTube and just gives basic information about Kwanzaa with great visuals to help the students really see how each object plays a role in Kwanzaa. So after the video, they'll hit the next button at the bottom. So next slide is a quiz. And there's going to be a question at the top that says, choose one object used during Kwanzaa and describe what it is and how and when it is used. So there's going to be a little text box at the bottom where the student will actually be able to type and write in their answer. So when they're done, they will hit the next button. And then that will submit it, and the globe will appear and say, how amazing is Kwanzaa? Now it's time to learn about another holiday called Dios de los Muertos, and they'll hit the next button. So the globe will appear again, and it'll say, what do butterflies, candy skulls, and marigolds all have in common? Dios de los Muertos. Click the skull to learn more. So a candy skull will appear, and they'll click it to go to the next slide. Next slide is a video that is 2 minutes and 23 seconds long, and it's a video on YouTube that just gives basic information on the basics of Dios de los Muertos with actual pictures and visuals to basically show the students like what it looks like in the real world, not just a textbook answer, to see how it really is shown. So after the video, they'll hit the next button, which will direct them to the next slide, which, like before, will have 6 objects that are used during Dios de los Muertos, and they must be clicked on one by one to see the information, and they will not be able to go into the next slide until they're all clicked. So these symbols are going to be a candy skull, a cempasúchil flower, a grave, butterflies, candles, and pan, which is bread. So after that, they'll hit the next button, and the globe will appear and say, wow, we've learned so much about Dios de los Muertos. Now let's take a quiz to test what we've learned. You must get a 70% to be able to move on. Then you'll hit the next button, and you'll begin the quiz. So the quiz is 10 questions that ask about rituals, cultures, and symbols of Dios de los Muertos. They must get 7 correct, or they'll have to start over. So at the same time as the quiz, there's going to be a back button placed at the left-hand corner, and it's going to say back. And so you can click on this, and then it will take you to the previous slides of the video and the symbols. So if you're stuck on a question, just hit back. You can read more information, and then you can go back to the quiz and answer the question so you know it is right. That'll always be there for each question. And then each question will be multiple choice. They'll either say correct or sorry, that's not right after each question. They will hit the next button to move on to the next question. Once they've gotten 70% or better, the globe will appear and say, wow, great job! You have mastered learning about Dios de los Muertos. Now it's time to learn about one last holiday. Hit the next button, and the globe will say, next we're going to learn about a holiday called Christmas. Click the Christmas tree below to learn more, and a Christmas tree will appear, and you'll click it, and it will move on to the next slide. So this slide will be blank, except for a chimney and a fireplace and a Christmas tree. A text bubble will appear after a few seconds and say, click on the chimney to see what happens. So you click on it, Santa comes down the chimney and places presents underneath the tree. So then, a little girl holding a present appears and says, wow, Santa came, Merry Christmas. Let me tell you about everything we did this month to prepare for this day. And you'll hit the next button to go to the next slide. So the little girl is going to be surrounded by 6 objects. And just like the past 2 holidays, you will click each symbol to see what it is and how it's used during the month of December. And there's going to be a Christmas tree, gifts, cookies and milk, baby Jesus, Santa and reindeer, and stockings. So, like before, each object must be clicked on to see what it is and how it's used. And each symbol must be clicked on to be able to go on to the next slide, or will not continue. So after looking at every object, you will just hit the next button and go to the next slide, which is a video. It's 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and it's on YouTube, and it describes the history of Christmas and how it's celebrated. So after the video, you're going to hit the next button, and the globe will appear and say, wow, Christmas is so awesome, and we've learned so much. Now it's time to test our knowledge. You hit the next button. So the quiz will be a 15-question quiz, but it's going to be a combination of true and false and a multiple choice and a bunch of multiple choice questions, and you must get an 80% to pass. So it'll explain that, and then you'll hit start the bottom to start the quiz. So there's different types of questions. One type of question, if this is an example, and it'll say four objects are going to be placed on the slide, and you have to click which one is not used during Christmas. So there could be a Christmas tree, stockings, a candle, arbor, guitar kind of thing, and a candy cane. Obviously, the candles are not used for Christmas in this fashion, so you'll hit that, and that will be correct. So there's also going to be true and false questions, and they will either say, after you hit your answer, oh, correct, or sorry, that's not right. And there's also going to be multiple choice questions, and they will say correct or sorry, that's not right. And you'll hit the next button after every question. So once you've gotten 80%, the globe will appear and say, wow, you are a Christmas pro, great job, and you'll hit next. The globe will appear again and say, we learned about 3 amazing holidays today. Great work paying attention and learning about them. This is what you learned today. Click next to see, and hit the next button. So then the response that they said originally for Kwanzaa that they typed in the text box will appear for them to read and review, just so they don't forget about Kwanzaa, so they know what's going on. So they'll read their answers, and then they will hit next. Then the quiz that they took for Dios de los Muertos will appear, and the questions and the answers will appear for them to read and review. Then they will hit the next button. And then finally, their Christmas questions and answers from their quiz will appear for them to read and review. And then after doing that, they will hit the next button. So the globe will appear at the next slide and say, you learned so much, but remember, there are so many other holidays around the world that you can explore and learn about. Get to it. And then, so he's going to be at the top, saying at the bottom, there's going to be 8 pictures of different holidays around the world that are going to appear. And then at the very, very bottom is going to be a button